In 2006, mare's tail became the first Nebraska weed species to carry the label glyphosate-resistant. Giant ragweed and kochia were confirmed as glyphosate-resistant in 2011, and earlier this year, UNL researchers confirmed the presence of glyphosate-resistant waterhemp in 6 eastern Nebraska counties. At field days in David City and Fremont this week, producers had the opportunity to learn more about controlling these weeds, specifically waterhemp and giant ragweed. Lowell Sandell talked with us in David City about the issues these two plants can cause and how you might be able to reduce them.
We've seen problems pop up in the last 3 to 4 years in Nebraska, particularly eastern Nebraska, with giant ragweed, and we're just now seeing some more significant problems with waterhemp. That's probably been our #1 question here this summer is waterhemp, so we know those topics are on guys' minds.
What kind of yield hits can you take with those two weeds if you can't get them controlled?
Well, you know, the guys, there are certain problem fields out there that have tremendously high populations, and if they get away from guys, you know, you can almost zero out a yield because it's very difficult to get a combine through those areas. But you know, uncontrolled weeds can rob anywhere from probably 5 to 30% of potential yield out there.
This location is more focused on giant ragweed. Compare and contrast how easy it is or how difficult it is to control giant ragweed in corn versus in soybeans.
Yeah, giant ragweed comes up really early in the year, and that's the backdrop here at this David City site. The studies we've taken people through this year shows the challenges that producers face post-emergence in soybeans, but it also shows that we have good tools in corn that are very capable of controlling glyphosate-resistant giant ragweed.
But in soybeans, why is it more difficult?
Soybeans, it really takes a very strong pre-plant approach to giant ragweed control. Giant ragweed comes up very early in the growing season, and control prior to planting is the key for effective giant ragweed control.
What about in waterhemp? What are the difficulties that you see there where you're working on that in the plot in Fremont?
Yeah, waterhemp is just a whole nother animal, really. It comes up much later in the growing season, will emerge from late spring all the way through summer. And waterhemp, you know, tank mixing products and getting control early on small plants is really critical when we're talking about glyphosate-resistant waterhemp.
So really in both of them, it's trying to manage it early before the planting. What if you find something that works? How long can that be reliable before you worry about building resistance again?
Well, that's one of the things we try to emphasize at these field days is a more integrated approach that is still manageable and relatively easy for growers to use. And really all it comes down to is a good decision-making process on that, and selecting the right products for their farm for weed control that are going to be effective, yet mixing it up each year.
So those are the two we're looking at in these two field days this week in Fremont and David City. Are there other resistant issues that you're trying to take a look at as well?
Yeah, in the western part of the state, you know, folks are pretty concerned about kochia, and that's a legitimate concern out there. Kochia is very much like giant ragweed. It comes up very early in the growing season, and good pre-plant management is critical to effective glyphosate-resistant kochia control as well.